Hi, this is Miss Katey, and I'm here to talk to you about your role in the virtual school setting. So the last two videos I talked to you about, first, your role is to help your student be ready and prepared to learn. The second role that you have is to help your child stay in the game of learning, and if they're out of the game, to help them get back in the game. And your last role is to help your child practice skills that they need to be successful in the virtual school setting. And this probably falls in three different areas of skills they might need help in. One is your student may need help with their technology skills. They may need help with social emotional skills, or they may need help with academic skills. So it's best to teach skills when the child is in a good emotional place. So when children are upset is not a time to teach them. The other thing is it needs to be when you have time to teach them and they can give you their full attention. So actually during the school day when they're learning is not a good time. Even if you notice that they're needing some help with a skill, just make a note of that, and then finding a time, usually after school or on the weekend, to then be able to provide an opportunity to practice. It's also helpful to think about when you teach a skill that first it is good to model the skill, then it is good to do the skill with the child, and lastly, to have them do it while you provide feedback and have them practice until they're ready, they can execute it. So that might mean more than one practice session. So you might notice that they need help in the area of technology, maybe help logging on or sharing screens or uploading. And so then having times after school or on the weekend where you guys practice this until they're able to do it on their own. And this is great because you're teaching them how to be an independent learner. If you notice that your child is having some trouble in more of social emotional areas of learning, for instance, like they might be getting really frustrated when they're having trouble with something, or maybe they're having trouble waiting their turn in the classroom setting, and you see that then that's hard for them. Or maybe they're having a trouble expressing their ideas. They might be more shy or cautious. That making note of that when you observe that, and then giving them opportunities to practice that. And so some good ways to practice is by doing role plays, even school role plays with them, or doing games where they're actually having to practice that skill, a game where they're having to practice communicating. There's a bunch of fun games, like you can even use the books of questions, or having them playing a game and they're having to wait their turn. Or maybe it's a game where it's kind of challenging and they might get frustrated, and so having them practice handling frustration. And you know, another thing is thinking of other opportunities where they could practice that. So if they have trouble communicating or asking questions, maybe having them talk to relatives about things on Zoom and answering questions, giving them more conversation practice. Or if they're having trouble with frustration, you can also work on building coping skills. And that could be a whole nother talk, but I'll give you a good reference or resource, which is Coping Skills for Kids by Janine Halloran. And just some ideas of some coping skills that you could practice with them is breathing, deep breathing. And there's some great fun YouTube videos for kids on that. Having them walk and get drink of water, or moving. So talking with your child about what things they can do when they feel frustrated, and making a plan. And when you make that plan with them, it's helpful to talk about too, what are signs in their body that they're getting frustrated with, and what are times that they know. And if they're not able to tell you, then you can help give that feedback. So setting up a plan with them, as well as I would email their teacher and maybe even have a meeting where you guys talk about some signal that that your child might be able to give the teacher if they're feeling frustrated, and just making your teacher aware of what your plan is. I think that's a great idea. And you can also reach out to me, because this is my area that I'm happy to help in. And lastly, if your child is having some troubles with academic skills, and you know that they need more practice, I think emailing the teacher is a great idea, and finding out ways that you can practice these skills with your child. I also would encourage your child to go to the office hours of the teacher and get more help there. So that's another great way to get some additional help. So stay tuned for more tips on how to help your child in the virtual learning setting. Thank you.